Hi, welcome back to the latest editions of the Hawk Talk podcast. And together with me in this beautiful Marina Bay Sands Expo and Convention Center, we have Stephen J. Davis. Stephen, nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Would you mind to maybe introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry and in the region now for 37 years in Asia, from graduating from Osaka University, and 14 years in Japan, 5 in the Philippines, 14 in Singapore, and the last 7 years back in the Philippines again. So I've got multiple books published. One particular one is Infrastructure Modernization, the CIO's Digital Transformation Playbook. So this is one that's been a big talking point, because as these emerging markets are emerging and creating more, and governments are deregulating, it creates a lot of opportunity and a lot of, between the cloud adoption, the ISV adoption, the X as a service companies that are coming out. How do these legacy environments transform into those systems? Now, over the last 4 years, had a bit of a passion project with my team called Data Center Association of the Philippines.
Yeah.
So once the BSP in the Philippines deregulated for the use of cloud for government and financial firms,
When is
and this was actually 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
But it has taken time to trickle down, right? As far as that, financial firms could finally use third-party data centers only 5 years ago.
Okay.
But we had a problem because we lacked the infrastructure.
Okay.
All the data centers are generally only 3 kilowatts, maybe 5 at best. This is a very low power. There are more legacy systems, and with the 60/40 rules and the regulations of the Philippines, it has been challenging over the last 25 years to build data centers. So now that we've deregulated, getting right into the government deregulation, what's been happening over the last 3 years. So with DCAP 3 years ago when we started it, the government was just deregulating and saying 100% ownership of your company now, rather than 60/40. They had the Create More Act, which had a lot of incentives. That's been constantly evolving, constantly augmenting the ability to say, okay, well, what are we going to do? How do we get these incentives and so on? We have 22 different acts and laws that have been in place to help the industry grow, including the Green Lane to expedite faster service of expediting it.
Okay.
The Open Access, the Connected Tone Pinoy Act, and law that just went in place to help the networks keep traffic in the country, rather than being the most expensive network in the Philippines, in Southeast Asia.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And there's a lot of fallacies about the Philippines, a stigma, okay?
Correct.
Because of the transformation, people go out, and I'll say these kids do research, and they do a 5-year, look at what's happening with AI, right? Yeah. And they get the bad information. They get, the Philippines is the most expensive on power, most expensive on this, property, and so on. That's no longer the case.
Okay.
Power-wise, it has changed dramatically. Through one, Meralco and the power generation companies, Aboitiz, First Gen, they've done an amazing job taking their set-in-stone policies and the size that they are and transforming it to say, all right, I can have more than 1 meter at a site now. I can do a lot more with what they're doing. And the billing is actually more about 12.2 cents per kilowatt hour. Not the residential 27 cents.
Yeah.
Singapore, during COVID, passed the Philippines as the most expensive power.
It is. Yes.
But people confuse residential power, okay, which is, power outages. You've got the roving power outages, scheduled ones, and so on. But the industrial power, I will say that like most data centers in the Philippines have not had a power outage in over 10 years.
That's...
Now, with the Create More Act in place, that power bill drops to 10.4 cents per kilowatt hour. Most people don't recognize the value of that and what the effort that's been put into place to make this happen.
Okay.
And all the companies are doing an absolute awesome job. The provisioning is fast.
Okay.
It's significant. It's in line with the rest of Southeast Asia.
Okay.
So we have this power convergence point of we're the same prices across anybody in Asia.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like the power companies are very mature in terms of understanding the need of the data center companies, right? But how about the rest of other components, such as the telco, such as the labor itself, such as water infrastructures, right? How's the situations right now?
Yeah, so the last 3 years has been focused on power, a lot of focus on that, on the build, because there's a lot of new builds, 9 data centers commissioning this year. including STT GDC, EPLET's Vitro, they had Makati, they have had Clark, and now Santa Rosa, three of their main flagships nowadays.
Yeah.
And we've had, of course, YCOs, Digital Halo, we've got Digital Edge,
Okay.
a lot of companies, A-Flow. These companies are coming out and building now next generation data centers. Data centers that are, not the 10, 15-year-old, brick and mortar sites. They're built for 10 kilowatts per cabinet or higher.
Okay.
So these facilities have gone into place and all commissioning this year. So there's been a lot of effort. Now, the final challenge is that people say, it's the highest power. False, right? It's hard to work with people, no resources. Absolutely false. When I go on contract with Thailand or Indonesia and so on, I bring my Filipino guys with me. And they're like, they walk in, they're speaking Bahasa, and they're like, we're Filipino. Because the architects, the MEP guys, they're very good. They do projects all over the world.
Yeah.
The Filipino people are some of the most amenable people on the planet.
Yeah.
You find them everywhere, right? From engineering to doctors to nurses to helpers all the way through.
Yeah.
So when you look at the ability to have resources available in the Philippines, it's one of the main hotspots. So that's all false, right? And they say, oh, government's corrupt. It's actually pretty straightforward with how to work with that.
The process is straightforward.
Yeah, and deregulation, the government's a challenge. No, the national government is actually making all the right decisions.
Okay.
Again, I got to give a big shout out and congratulations to them, the DICT, the BOI, Department of Energy. They've gone through painstaking efforts to make sure that they can make this happen.
Yeah.
They realized that, last year was $1.6 billion of investments coming into the Philippines over the last couple of years, right, for data center infrastructure. Over the next 5 years, that's going to be $20 to $30 billion. That's significant for them to make sure that we are making the right decisions, building the right insights. And that's what DCAP is for, is helping them build these insights on, when they make decisions, how it's going to affect the local enterprise, the government, the deployment, because having that broad perspective of the migration, the digital transformation. Yeah. And especially with cloud, if you look at 2023, cloud adoption in government was 5%.
Okay.
Last year, 15%. This year, 35%. This is some significant growth.
That's a double-digit growth.
Exactly.
In terms of cloud adoptions.
The Philippines is late.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we're irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right? We're just saving the best for last.
So it seems that more and more governments are laying the red carpets for the data centers companies to come in and invest in the countries, right? How strong do you feel the competitions from the neighboring countries, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, or even the previous case, Indonesia? What is the advantages or the disadvantages does Philippines have in attracting all these investments coming in? It
was interesting. This is the challenge of being last to deregulate is all the investments and so on. TikTok, as examples, put in $8.8 billion into Thailand as their announcement. Yeah. Okay, and all it was going to Thailand, Vietnam. The Philippines in 2023 had 48 megawatts of total power utilization in data centers.
Yes.
Last year was 68 megawatts. Yep. This year's 89 megawatts. Okay. We're already ahead of both Thailand and Vietnam in total power usage in the data center. Yes. And if we look at what Digital Edge has done, they've gone through, created their first 6 megawatts, and they're already almost halfway used of that. It's only been a year and a half in operations. That's usually a 7-year cycle before you hit that level, the economies of scale, right? Or the return on asset. Okay, it takes about 8 to 10 years usually, or a return on investment takes good 10 to 12 years on a data center. A 20-year life cycle of the facility. Yeah. So a lot of companies have gone into the other markets first, which is fine. I look at it as a perspective of the IS. 64% of what's hosted in these other countries is supporting Philippine users on the social media. This is important because we are not only the highest in the region, but the highest in the world as far as some of these numbers. 8.5 hours a day per capita on the internet. 2.8 billion hours a month of video streaming. That's TikTok, YouTube, and Netflix. in the Philippines, highest in the world.
Wow.
And none of those companies are in the Philippines. So that's also because the network is, as we're doing that transformation now with open access, allowing more to happen.
Yep.
Now that some major transformations really come into place. So all this in the Singapore, 64% of all social media actually supports the Philippine users, and the numbers and the stats go on. So it's only a matter of time before people realize that they need to be in the Philippines.
Yeah.
You need it on the edge.
Yeah.
You need your high density power, your performance driven environments.
Yeah.
And that needs to be in the Philippines. The Philippines is the BPO capital of the world.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what are we going to do with AI? It doesn't mean BPO is going to go away.
No.
It just means that inference needs to be at the edge, not in a central location like a training, right, for AI. And so all those GPU infrastructures will need to come out to the Philippines.
Yes, it is.
And be in the Philippines. So we are preparing for that, re-educating everybody as far as what AI is. Filipinos are some of the highest users of AI in Southeast Asia. And so with Chat GPT and so on, that's going to be in Virginia and Nevada is where they're hosted.
So all this while they're actually using, I would say, these technologies, and they're already using these technologies, but unfortunately, maybe the servers are actually outside of the Philippines, right? So if you look at them, being the person that in the Philippines, in the Manilas, right? When you look at the key sectors that will drive the growth, or is already driving the growth right now in Philippines, what do you see is which sectors actually is really the real growth in the Philippines?
Yeah. To close out our last question, really is with all the investments going into other countries, those investments need to realize their value first. Okay, so all the data centers in Johor Bahru, in Jakarta, Thailand, they need to realize those. Fortunately, ISVs, independent software vendors, they're growing at 28 to 38% per year. So that's a year and a half before they'll be looking at significant installations elsewhere. So they're growing so fast. So a lot of things now they got the cloud first in the Philippines. Okay, deregulation happens.
The government is basically pushing the cloud first.
Exactly. And financial firms as well, because now the financial firms can now use cloud as a cloud service provider or as a software as a service.
How about the financials?
So the financial firms, So they can use ServiceNow now, they can use Salesforce now, whereas before they couldn't do it. Because it was some of the regulations that were in place. So this is having a lot of incentives for cloud first. Now that's going to be transforming to a cloud smart model very quick. Once we hit a critical mass on cloud, because adoption is so fast, getting off the legacy servers, this is so all the migration, Accenture and all the SI companies have been very busy. I know Deloitte's been having a project after project because of the migration. So this is actually helping to motivate or help to the momentum of the industry. Now as the hyperscalers are starting to look, there's a challenge with data centers. Everybody's chasing elephants. They all want that one customer, the one hyperscaler. So if there's AWS as an example, they come in, they'll probably co-locate with 3 different data center companies, and the other ones will come back and say, "Well, we didn't see the RFP. We didn't get a chance at this business." It's like, it's okay. There are 1,000 other companies supporting the marketplace and all of their services, and they need 1 rack, 10 racks, and 100 racks each. So that business is still coming in. Just because Amazon goes in and chooses one data center means a lot more is coming in.
Precisely.
Facebook is a good example. They came in with an initial, call it 14 racks per se, just expanding that to 10 times more at this point. So they're realizing that, great, our first run of a pilot has worked. It's proven, and now we're expanding further. A lot of these large hyperscalers are actually looking now, but where do they find the right location? Which is the challenge, because inside NCR, right now if you're going to find a 50 megawatt site in the national capital region,
national capital region is challenging. It's Manila,
extended Manila,
expanded Manila. Okay.
So that's, you can find between 2 and 20 megawatt pretty easy around that area. But because you have to build your own substation, you need the land, you need the space. We have the land. Okay, it's just Manila is very 111,000 people per square kilometer. So it can be very challenging there. So as we go south to Batangas and Cavite, or north up to Pampanga and Clark, now we got 75 to 100 megawatt capability. Up in Pampanga, you can get up to 300 to 400 megawatts on a single site. We have the power available.
Okay.
So we're at 89 megawatts this year of utilization. That's 620 megawatts of availability.
Okay.
So most people don't realize that. The power is struggling. We do not have a power problem at all, even distribution, because the power companies are progressing and supplying exactly as we need to based on the demand. They don't need 1 gigawatt today. They need to have 2.2 gigawatts by into 2030.
Yeah.
Because our projection is that the Philippines is inevitable. With the users, the adoption rates, the level of business that we do, the English proficiency, we're going to be on the road to 1 gigawatt over the next 5 years.
Wow.
And this is why I will say it is inevitable.
Yeah.
So companies will have to start really looking at that last frontier, because everywhere else is going to be considered oversaturated by that point. And then they'll get used. They all will. So we wish all the success to everybody. But the Philippines, because of the deregulation, because of the geographic capability, the location, the amenability of the population, the incentives from the government, all the stigma that everybody thinks the Philippines is no longer the case. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's making me wanted to come to Philippines just to see all of that. And I believe that having I would say looking ahead in just 2030, which is just 5 years from now. And is all these power companies so far, are they also as bullish when they look at the data centers, or are they being quite, I would say, careful in terms of how do they actually deploy their resources?
Well, that's the amazing thing. Traditionally, 10 years ago, if I was going to work with one of the power companies, it'd be very bullish.
Yeah.
You have to comply with their needs, no matter what, right? It was just their process. And now it's actually, so I keep saying they've done a great job in their transformation. They're customer focused, their amenability to say, okay, we understand this is the market. We're still learning how to support you. So we want to support you. We're going to make it happen for you.
Okay.
And everything from, the main leaders of the Philippines, the government and the industry leaders, the big shots of the big families, everybody's making those efforts.
Fantastic.
It is quite amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stevens, for, I would say, your sharings to this session of the Hop Talks podcast. I think it's going to be an interesting market, Philippines. Data Center Hawk is going to cover this market in Q4 2025, and we are very, I would say, blessed that Stephen would like to spend his time here with us. Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.